I'm only 36 days away from the presidential election, and today Donald Trump, he was campaigning in the battleground state of Colorado. Here are some of those highlights.
It's great to be here today in Larimer County and in the beautiful state which we're going to win of Colorado. Beautiful. We can't have 4 more years of Barack Obama. We can't. And crooked Hillary will be worse. She'll be worse. So get those ballots in. We can't beat anybody right now. We don't beat ISIS. Can you imagine General George Patton? He's right now spinning in his grave. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine General Douglas MacArthur? We can't beat ISIS. They wouldn't know what you're even talking about. But I'll tell you one thing they wouldn't do. They wouldn't go on television to announce that very soon we're going after Mosul. Did you see that? They announced, we're going after Mosul. Why do you have to talk? You do it. You do it. Boy. Then you have the leaders of ISIS, a lot of them in Mosul. They say, you know, we're getting out of here now because they announced, so we'll go through the whole thing, death and destruction, and it won't be the success it should be. They've got to keep their mouths shut and get it done.
And joining us now with the latest on the Trump campaign and a preview of what we can expect at tomorrow night's vice presidential debate, Donald Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne, how are you?
Hi, Sean.
All right, let's give us a preview of, all right, what are the differences, this might be entertaining to people, between how Donald Trump prepares for debates, which has been written about a lot, and say what Mike Pence is doing, because I've not heard a peep about it.
I've worked with Mike Pence for a number of years as his pollster and senior advisor, and he has been doing mock debates with Governor Scott Walker, and he's been preparing with his senior staff. And I think you're going to see tomorrow a feisty Mike Pence take on the record of Hillary Clinton and hold her accountable for the failures of her policies as Secretary of State. Also, as United States Senator, talk about an unremarkable record. And certainly if she wants to continue forward with Obama administration policies, hold her to account, Sean, on what she thinks of Obamacare. Would she bring us to a Bernie Sanders-type single-payer system, especially after we just found out she insulted all those Bernie Sanders voters? You add those millions of people to the tens of millions she said were deplorable and irredeemable, and you're getting like up to a quarter to 30% of the country that she just doesn't like. And I think of Mike Pence, I hope he'll take some time to talk about his remarkable record as governor of Indiana. He cut the unemployment rate in half. He gave a 5% across-the-board tax cut to both employers and individuals. He has an unbelievable record on manufacturing jobs. He expanded school choice and charters. He came up with an innovative free market plan in response to Obamacare called the Healthy Indiana Plan. And he's a great guy. And he's trusted by people. He's 12 years in Congress, including 10 years in the Foreign Relations Committee. When he was as governor of Indiana, he's cut the unemployment rate. Tim Kaine, it went up when he was governor of Virginia. Right there, you've got a great talker.
You know, at the end of the day, to me, this election is about big issues. And I know during debates that Hillary doesn't want to talk about, she'd rather talk about birtherism and what Donald Trump said 25 years ago. And, you know, to me, it's about, okay, we're going to cut taxes or raise taxes. So we're going to have originalists on the court or activist judges. Are we going to fire coal miners and put coal companies out of business or be energy independent? Are we going to, you know, kind of a president that can say radical Islam or can't? Somebody will vet refugees or not vet refugees, build a wall, not build a wall. The role of the U.S. in the world, education, fixing the VA. There's such, I can't think of one issue they agree on, meaning Trump and Hillary.
That's right. There's such a contrast. And you're right, Sean, at the fundamental level, this election is about what it's always been about. The past versus the future, change versus status quo, a disruptive outsider versus someone who just screams and reeks of everything Washington. And by the way, so does her running mate, Tim Kaine. You'll see on that debate stage tomorrow night. Between Tim Kaine and Hillary Clinton, you're talking about decades and decades and decades of being in the government, being on the government payroll, getting a really nice health care that most Americans can't access, and pensions to boot. You're also talking about this election being between a successful businessman and a typical politician. You're talking about innovative new policies to bring to Washington, where he owes nobody in Washington anything, versus a woman who's representing failed policies. The choice cannot be more clear. And Sean, that's why despite all the hand-wringing and the Monday morning quarterbacking that we experienced in the week since the first presidential debate, you look at the new CNN poll out today, and Hillary Clinton still can't get to 50%. They're still within the margins of error. In the CNN poll of polls, Clinton 44, Trump 42. She's at 53% among women. Do you know how hard she has tried to say that Donald Trump takes the wings off of butterflies to women? And she's at 53%. She's at 53% among women, and yet she's running as the first female president. They have a problem with this woman being president. Something's not working. Something's holding people back.
So a week from yesterday, this coming Sunday, they will have their second debate.
Yes.
And it was interesting going into the first debate because a lot of people wanted to see, is Donald Trump going to hold his fire? Now that Hillary has come out with both barrels and she doesn't want to talk about the economy or protecting the homeland, but all she wants to do is make this election about Donald Trump left a lot on the table. The email server, lying about Benghazi, abandoning troops that were out in the field, her supporting Obama's failed economic policies, the $6 billion she lost as Secretary of State, horrible foreign policy problems. Are we going to see more of that, do you think, in the next debate?
You will, and remember, this is a town hall format, Sean, where many of those questions will come from the audience. I think it's a great format for Donald Trump, who every single day, as you just showed in your clip, is out there on the stump engaging with people. That's where he loves. He gets oxygen from the people. It's a great format for him. Secondly, there are so many issues in Hillary Clinton's scandalabra, and there are so many issues in Hillary Clinton's failed policies. Just today, her president, I guess, again, trying to help her on the stump, we're told, was talking about the failings of Obamacare. He went after, in 3 different statements that I read, where he's really calling into question whether it's effective, whether it's arranged properly, if it's benefiting people it was supposed to. So I think Donald Trump, he'll be able to get all that out in a town hall format. The other thing I just wanted to mention is you're absolutely right. Donald Trump got zero credit from the naysayers and his detractors on how gracious and restrained he was.
He wasn't going to do. They all thought he was going to come out guns blazing, firing, making crazy comments about Hillary. But that didn't happen. So you can't win for losing, I guess, if you're running a campaign. I wouldn't want your job. I don't care what you're being paid. It's not enough.
Well, I appreciate that, Sean. I just want to say this about the debates, though. I think we're also missing the things that Donald Trump did say successfully last week in that first debate. He did get out that she's been there for 30 years, so what the heck has changed? Why would we entrust her as a change maker when 70% of Americans say they want this country to go in a new and different direction? What possibly credentials her to make that change? He talked about her failures on trade. He talked about the fact that she and her boss, President Obama, had created a vacuum in which ISIS arrived. But you're right, to put onto the table all of the Hillary Clinton problems and put them out there and weave them into his answers, I think you're going to see a lot of that next Sunday. We're really excited for Mike Pence tomorrow and for Donald Trump next Sunday.
All right, Kellyanne, thanks for being with us.